question not.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Speaker. Today has a great double significance. As the House may know, it's World Environment Day, which we celebrate the natural world and recommit ourselves as a Parliament to seek to protect it. It's also the date of birth, or at least the putative date of birth, of Adam Smith, one of my great heroes, who did as much as anyone has ever done to explain the world in which we live. But if I may move, Mr. Speaker, from the sublime to the sublimely incompetent, otherwise this week has been one disaster after another for the government. On Monday we had to drag the Leader of the House to the dispatch box yet again when she had to apologise yet again for the government's flagrant disregard of this House of Commons in briefing out the Strategic Defence Review over the weekend. There is no more important issue than the defence of the realm. It is a UK-wide, long-term, all-party matter and has always been treated as such. Yet the government chose to share the document not only with its friends in the media, but with the industry at least 6 hours before it came to this chamber or to opposition parties. It's a matter of deep embarrassment to the government and raises a serious question about the private sharing of financially sensitive information. The Leader and the Defence Secretary are both honourable people. I have no doubt that she has made the case every week in Cabinet for doing these communications properly. It is just extraordinary that these two members of the Cabinet are being hung out to dry every week by the 12-year-olds in 10 Downing Street. You could, Mr. Speaker, have in fact granted a UQ every single day this week. Such has been the deluge of important announcements prematurely made outside this House. Today it is free school meals. Yesterday it was the reannouncement of Northern Rail spending. The only mitigating factor is that the government has been so incompetent in handling its slow-motion U-turn on the winter fuel allowance that no one has noticed anything else, though we still await a statement on that issue to the House as well. Well, what about the Strategic Defence Review itself? We should start by thanking the reviewers for their hard work over many months. I know everyone in this House will want to do that. But if we look at the review in terms of hard substance, matters become more difficult. First of all, many of the announcements largely repeated decisions of previous governments on submarines, on AUKUS and on warheads, for example. Secondly, and of course most crucially, where is the funding? Government ministers have tied themselves into knots over the last few days as to whether the 3% target is, I quote, an ambition, quote, an aim, or simply to be undertaken, quote, when fiscal circumstances allow or in the next Parliament. Luckily, General Richard Barrons, one of the SDR reviewers, was more honest, saying in terms that the SDR's financial profile, that is to say, the assumptions against which the reviewers were working, assumed that defence gets 2.5% of GDP in financial year 27-28 and 3% of GDP by no later than 2034. Of course, the great irony is that not 3 weeks from now we have the NATO summit, which will call not for 3%, but for 3.5% plus 1.5%. We are light years away from that commitment. The awful truth, Mr. Speaker, is that real money will not begin to flow into the armed forces until the Defence Industrial Strategy and the Defence Investment Plan are announced later this year, hopefully in a proper way to this House. That will be 15 months after the government took office. It's lucky, Mr. Speaker, we don't have a war in Europe. Third, where is the threat to our adversaries? No extra cash means no extra commitment. No commitment means no credibility. No credibility means no increased sense of threat to those we face. What do we know? We know that there is a war in Europe in which Russia is moving men and material not merely to push on in Ukraine, but to threaten the Baltic states. Ukraine had a glorious victory in the last few days, but we cannot rely on them. We must support them in their struggle against Russia. What do we know? We know that Xi Jinping has directed the People's Liberation Army to develop the capability to invade Taiwan by 2027. And we know that NATO allies, who have a collective responsibility to each other, have a long way to go before they are even, in some cases, at 2% of GDP, let alone 3.5%. Instead of giving real leadership, putting cash on the table, our own government is talking about readying the country for war, while in reality it continues to dither and delay.